Hey fam gang, it's your girl Larato and I am back again with another video. Today I'm going to be speaking about 3 ways to spot a toxic family member. And the reason why I'm speaking about this topic is because I think a lot of us people don't know that you can have a family member that you depend on, that you trust for their so-called credible advice, but actually this person does not actually have your best interests at heart. It's a very hurtful thing because as family we are one, we are joined together, we have the same blood and we are meant to love each other. But unfortunately, the devil does use people that are closest to us to hurt us. And the reason why I'm giving you these 3 tips is because I want to open your eyes as to what a toxic family member does, so that if you have been taking advice from a toxic family member, or then basically why you've been having certain feelings of being uncomfortable whenever they give you an opinion about something that you ask them about, or just why they just always so negative around you. Why don't they ever have positive things to say about you? And I believe that if you do have a toxic family member, you need to start realizing that what they say is not necessarily true, but what they're actually saying it to break you down. Guys, like I always say, I am not a professional, I am not a student of theology. I'm basically just heeding the call of God to help his people. Here are 3 ways to spot a toxic family member. Number 3, that's the family member that is always putting you down. And by putting you down, I mean this is the family member that is always focusing on your weakness. Sometimes they don't even outright speak about your weakness. Sometimes it's done in a joking way. It's a joke about your weakness, it's also like another spotlight on your weakness. And for me, I just feel that if you see this recurring, I would like to remind you of the word of God that says that in my power is in your weakness. So the Lord is strong in our weakness. So actually your weakness is your strength. So if somebody is constantly trying to remind you of your weakness, they are doing this to put you down and to not have you focus on your strengths, but to remind you, oh well, you don't know how to do that. You don't know how to do that. In 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9, it says that power is perfected in weakness. The power of the Lord is perfected in weakness. So where you are weak, that is where the greatest power of the Lord is. So next time your family member focuses on your weakness, remind yourself, go inside your mind, remind yourself of the word that the Lord is powerful in your weakness. I mean, tip number 2, so constantly curious about your projects. Your projects being anything, your projects being school, work, a business you're starting, whatever project that is basically your baby, or whatever initiatives that you're involved in, a toxic family member is usually very curious about these. You might mistaken this curiosity as concern and as care, but actually this person is so curious because they constantly want to control over your life. A toxic family member is somebody who knows everything about everything. So you could be a medical doctor and your toxic family member could be a pilot, and they will know so much about your field. They will constantly tell you, no, but you're doing this wrong, or they will constantly give you advice. To be honest with you, the reason why they give you this advice is because they want constant control. They want to control your fate in such a way that they get their desired outcome for you. So you are taking all this advice from them because they are a family member, and you think that they care. Be careful of that, guys. Spirit of discernment. Remember to tap into your spirit of discernment. I think Jesus Christ said to one of his disciples, get away from me, Satan. To one of his own disciples, get away from me, Satan. And I believe that we're looking at Jesus Christ's journey, so personified, actually shows us that not everybody that is with us is actually for us. Lack of self-control is also a sin. So do not let their lack of self-control, because they cannot control their own lives, come to control you, bring you down. There's a saying that says, too many cooks spoil the broth. Sometimes you don't need 5 cooks to boil an egg. You just need yourself to boil an egg. So tap into your spirit of discernment and know when this information is right for you and when this information is wrong for you. Point number 1, a toxic family member tends to downplay your achievements. So when you do achieve something, your toxic family member tends to downplay it, and they'll say something like, oh yeah, no, so and so also did that. Notice the trend, guys. Notice the trend. Okay, maybe if it happens once, then let's not exaggerate and just automatically say that this person is toxic. No, but they tend to downplay your achievement. Like I said, you could say, oh my gosh, I got this thing, and they can say, oh yeah, no, but so and so already did it. Nothing you ever do is ever like celebrated. You know what? If you start seeing this occur with a toxic family member, then I think that you should just stop telling them your achievement. Let your life be a testimony of God's grace upon your life, because God's grace is ever so sufficient that even till today the world testifies about God. So life is a testimony of God. So let your life be a testimony of the Lord, and don't feel the need to exactly share those news with that person. I know you want to tell your family member and whatever, but like I said, the enemy uses people to deter us from our path. So yeah, guys, just take a great note of that. Download all the heavenly wisdom, guys. I hope that these 3 tips will help you in spotting a toxic family member. And I mean, once you spot this toxic family member, like, pray for them. I always say that when I pray for my enemies, and when I pray for my family. So if you're a toxic family member, you will either be blessed in my prayer for you as a family member, or you will either be blessed in my prayer for you as my enemy. So either way, I'm praying for you. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I am Rata Maitufi, and I am fueled by faith. God bless.